guys, welcome to my first recording with a brand new camera. I'm going to do a nail tutorial today. So I've got my 3 nail sticks and my shiny fabulousness of nails. So the colors we're going to work today is a primary red, just your average red, and then we've got flesh. These are all basic acrylic paint from a craft store. Then we've got midnight blue, basic white, black, buttermilk, dark chocolate, and that is literally the name of this paint, is dark chocolate. Made me giggle when I first got it. And then I have this hollow polish, which I'm going to use to accent the snow, and a basic top coat. That's going to be our colors for today. And if you want to know how they're mixed, I've got my black, white, midnight blue with white, white and black for gray, just plain red, and then I've got the buttermilk, flesh, and brown dark chocolate in this one. This is going to go for the trees, so we'll see. We're going to do Little Red Riding Hood nails. I have done them tons of times, and people always ask, oh, how did you do those? Or how did those get done? Where did you get those done? They're always kind of surprised when I do my nails myself. So, what we're going to need brush-wise for this is you're going to want a brush like this, plain, kind of square. One of these. Very nice, thin, but kind of mediums as well, thickness. And then a striping brush. This is my staple brush. I use this all the time. Okay, so we're going to start with a background for these. So it means I'm just going to paint them all one solid color. And I'm actually going to go through with, I'm going to wet my brush, get into the white. And while that is still wet, I'm going to get into the white and blue. You don't need a whole lot of polish. I'm going to mix my gray while this is still wet. I've got my gray. A little bit of water. I'm going to kind of dilute that out a bit. And I'm going to swirl that around. So you have something that looks like that. Gives the illusion of fog. Which is exactly what we're going for. I'm going to mix just a little bit of blue into that, you guys. And then I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to do the other ones just like that. Because what you're going to go for is sort of a fogged effect. Kind of like a dark foggy night. So I'm going to dip back into my white. I'm going to paint the whole thing white. And then I'm going to go immediately into my light blue. If I don't turn the nail around like an idiot. I'll swirl that on. And I'm going to get into this diluted out black, dark gray, light grayish color. And we're going to swirl that in. And then I'm going to add some blue. And this doesn't have to be perfect. From what I've been told and what I have learned over the years, the less perfect it is, the better. Because however perfect you want it to be, it's never going to come perfect. There's always going to be something that you can fix or change or do differently that would cause a different effect. So, I'm going to do the same with this last one, and by the time we're done with this last one, our first one should be dry. To our light blue. To our gray. There we go. And this way you've got the effect of smoky swirls in the night sky, just as dusk, just after dusk maybe, I'm thinking, is what I was going to go for when I created these the first time I saw them. This idea is not my own, I will say. The credit for that idea has to go to Robin Moses, and I will be tagging her channel in this because this idea came from her. So this nail is almost dry. There's still some little bits of shine, and we want that to be gone. So what you're going to use next is, I prefer to paint on the trees first and then put the snow around them. So what the brush you're going to want is this one. And the difference between the two of them, for those who don't know, striping brush, really long, really thin, and then you've got whatever this brush is. These are Westonia's, I guess it's supposed to be fine line, whatever. They all say fine line, but that doesn't help me. So, I'm going to get into these three, and I'm just going to take and swirl them together so you can see a little bit like that. So you can still see all of the colors, but every time you dip your brush in, you'll come up with the triad of colors, which is exactly what we want for trees. So decide where you want your trees to go. And start painting your trees in. There's a baseline trunk for the tree. That's what we're using this particular brush for, is to do the trunks. And I'm going to make this one come down here and climb up the edge of this nail. Just like that. You have basic trunks for your trees. I'm going to do the same thing on this nail. And I will be adding in smaller branches in a moment or two with the striping brush. And depending on where you end the trunks at is where you can put like rolls in the hills. So I want one farther back than the other. Now on this one we're not going to use this brush, because on this one I'm going to paint the Big Bad Wolf on this one. So what I am going to use is I'm going to grab my striping brush and I'm going to dip into our tree colors. Get a good mix of those together. Just like that. And then I'm just going to take along the one side and I'm going to do line there. And this tree is going to go all the way to the bottom of the nail. Just like that. And I'm going to curve these branches out this way after I do the moon. But I don't want to do that right away, because then I'd have to end up repainting over them anyway after I did the moon. And to do the moon, we're just doing some buttermilk and a little bit of yellow maybe. But that comes after. I'm going to use these two colors, which I have set aside for when I'm ready to do the moon. So now that we've got that little tree there, we can paint our rock in with a little bit of blue, the midnight blue, and black. We want it dark, but we don't want it pure black. You still want to be able to see some of the blue in there. So, coming off right here by this tree, I'm going to paint all of that really dark. With a flat top, like that. Actually, there we go, that's better. So, you got like that. And the wolf's going to sit on the top of that. And there's always a hair somewhere in this house. But that's what happens when you live with 3 cats. So I'm going to go in with my light blue. On this brush, and I'm going to paint in our snow. And on this one, I'm going to keep things kind of down a little farther for this one. Because right in this middle path right here is where I want to put Riding Hood. So I don't want to take up all that space in the background, otherwise things get difficult. And on this one, we're going to just place a little bit of snow where we want the crags and the rocks at. So you have crags and the rocks. And we're going to put just a little bit down here at the base of the tree. So where we're at so far is like that. And I think from here on we are using our striping brush from now on, guys. Alright, so starting with our first nail, we're going to move everything else off to the side. I'm going to dip into our branches. And start adding tree branches. And I know it looks really deceptively easy. It's really not, I know. I spent months trying to figure out how in the hell you paint a line this small. Well, at that time I didn't have a striping brush. So, it was kind of impossible. So, but once you get a striping brush, everything is so much easier and you will have such a nice time with it. Really, I can't tell you how easy it was upon discovery of a striping brush. My life infinitely got simpler. Then you've got creepy trees. Now, I'm not going to do that on this one. On this, we want this area in the center here to stay kind of open. So, I'm going to go in with my colors, and I'm going to keep the branches kind of up here. And you can turn these as much as you need to start out. Just try not to do it too much. You want to try and keep the bulk of movement sort of like an actual client's finger would. Because if you tried to turn it around this way, that would not be good for your client. You'd either break their freaking hand off, or you'd end up causing them injury. So I'm not going to do anything with branches on this one until I have the moon painted in. Because I need to paint things in front of the moon. So I'm going to use just one small drop of my buttermilk, which is probably one of the lowest paints I've got, because I use it for human skin tone to kind of mellow out and add a little bit of lighter areas. So, and I'm using one small drop of yellow. And I'm going to mix those two up a little bit. It's kind of going to look like the brown does. But we're just going to come in and we're going to something that's kind of a pale yellowy color. We'll add brighter tones into it after. So you want your moon right in that area, right there. And you can paint this first, but I like placing my moon where the end of the rock starts. So I like painting up my rock first and then painting in the moon afterwards. And before that entirely dries, I'm going to dip into my white a little bit. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to add white into that, and there you have both light and dark spots on the moon. So after I add my wolf to that, then I will be adding in the branches for that tree. But on this piece I'm going to add in Riding Hood, and I'm going to take just a little bit of black, just a little. You do not need a whole lot to make dark red. So literally what I've got is I've got a small line of black and I'm mixing in a little bit of red and some water. And I think I may actually need just a bit more red. There we go. You have dark red. So taking our fabulous dark red, I'm going to create a little bit of a triangle on this. I'm going to extend that down just a little. I freehand all of my art. I don't like using stencils. I don't like using tapes and things like that. I prefer to freehand learn all of my art. This way, if I don't have a stencil, I can still freehand something. Now I'm going to round out this top piece. And you've got the dark red form of Little Red Riding Hood. And to add for effect, you can take and add just like a little bit of yellow coming out from underneath of the hood for her hair. Now I'm going to go in straight red. And along the top and toward the side that had the moon, I'm going to add highlights. So you can see that she has both light and darks in her outfit. I'm going to go through with pure white on my striper. And And I'm going to add some white to the tops of this snow. And wherever you want a spot of the land to wave, you can put that there. Now I'm going to come in with my larger brush, get some water into it, and I'm kind of going to bleed that down a little. So that it's got some fading onto it. Just like that. Now I'm going to come in with my Little Red Riding Hood and do the same thing. Add in a touch of the brightness. I'm going to come in and blend it in. And now we have to paint the wolf, because this right here is now all nice and dry. And ooh, look at that. I get so distracted wearing this. I end up staring at it all the time. It ends up distracting me so very badly. So for this, we don't need a whole lot of light. Most of him is going to be in the dark, but a lot of him is going to be with a brown. So that whole brown we mixed up, we're going to get into a bit of that, and then we're going to use black mainly. But the brown is to highlight him. So we're going to go into straight black. Make sure I'm in frame. Head tilted back so the mouth is up toward ear. And there's the tail. Now with my striping brush, I'm going to get into the brown. And just to the tops of him, I'm going to add a bit of a brown tone so that when you get it in the right light, you will see that yes, he is mostly black, but when you look at him, there's touches of brown in him. Just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to stay in my wolf at the moment. I'm going to dip into our blended tree color, and I'm going to add just a little bit of tree line and then I'm going to add one right down here. just like that. Now I'm going to stick with my striping brush, but now I'm going to bring in the others. And I'm going to go into my pale blue on my striper. And I'm going to go into the trees and touch in just a little bit of this blue wherever the snow would hit the branches at, because that's going to be our dark part of the snow. And then we're going to add white over the top of that. In doing this, you're adding both a dark shade and a bright highlighted spot. So there's the blue on that one. And on Red Riding Hood, gonna touch in there, touch there. And on Wolf's nail, don't need a whole lot on that one. You don't want to take away from the wolf itself. You want to make that the centerpiece of that nail. Now I've got just plain white. And wherever you've put that light blue color, touch to the top of it, straight white. So you've got both light and dark snow on your trees like you do on the ground. Now on the wolf, we have a bit more to do on this one. So add to your branches. Now you're going to want to take some of that white, and where you've got the snow, you want to add it to just this is so relaxing to me, you guys. You've no idea. If I'm not feeling well or I'm not having a good day, I can turn to this, and I'm so relaxed doing this. And I'm going to add just a little bit right there. And I'm going to take some water. Blend that in, just like that. And now we get to the fun part, adding hollow. Oh, look at this gorgeousness. Look at it. Just for added effect, I'm going to open the bottle and show you guys. I found this at Claire's store. That's not what I've got on. This is actual hollow powder. But look at this. Look at it. Oh, that glitter. Oh, that glitter. Oh, it's so freaking pretty. So, we're just going to take just a little bit of that. And I'm going to use a dotter because I don't like using my brushes for these. If you guys don't have a dotting tool to use, you guys can use any small tool, even a toothpick would work. I don't like using them on my brushes because if I don't get the polish off immediately, it starts drying. So, I'd rather just keep those for my acrylic paints and just call it good. So, I'm going to just take a little bit of this straight off of the end of this brush. And wherever the white parts are, we're just going to touch in just a little bit of glitter, if you guys can see that. We're just doing this for a little bit of sparkle wherever the white is. So in other light, so quite not so direct. You can see there are spots where it sparkles. And that's exactly what we want. So on Riding Hoods, just touching in just a little bit of hollow to add that added sparkle. That snow usually has. And I will get pictures of these for you guys at the end of this video. So I'm going to add some to this branch here, that branch there. Get a hair on my stuff. Gotta love that. So wherever you added the white on top of the pale blue for your snow is where you want to add just a little bit of glitter, because every girl who's ever going to wear these loves glitter. Now I'm going to come in with my top coat and make every color on this snail pop. There's one. There's our second. Now for me personally, I use a gel top coat for mine, but that's because I work around nail polish remover and things every day, and if I didn't, I would end up having to redo my nails all the time, and I don't want to do that. So I use a Cook-On top coat for my nails. That way, if I end up hitting them with like straight acetone, they're not just going to immediately come off. I learned that going to nail school. Oh my god, that was not fun. So I'm going to click off this light here. And I'm going to very carefully bring these closer to my camera.